Welcome to the first of this three-part series covering an overview and hands-on execution of how I edit my music videos, starting from cuts through to color grading. I have also included links to the LUTs and presets used in each part respectively down the description below. Thanks for checking it out and remember to subscribe. Okay, so what I've done here in Premiere Pro is I have my footages all in here, and normally I try to get myself interested to work on the footages, assemble them and cut them into the sequence. So what I do is I color grade some of the shots just to look at how it will look like in the end, just to get me in the mood of things, if you get what I mean. Okay, so over here on this sequence is some cuts that I've done, initial cuts that I've done. So I'm going to start with how I do my cuts, then we'll move on to the next video, which is going to be how I add effects. Then we'll move on to the last, which is gonna cover the color grading aspect of things. Okay, so this is just an initial set of cuts that I've done. Let me just mute the audio so you can actually look through and still hear me out. Okay, so you notice that there's been some cuts over here. Let me play it sequentially. All right. Okay. Alright, so you notice that this is actually just one background that I had the artist walk towards the camera, so I also moved backwards. But each cut also has the same format, but in a different shot size. And that is to, even though it's the same background, same format, same camera movement, you could still be able to cut the shots and make it seamless. Alright, okay. Alright, so about that, let me just create a different sequence, a new sequence. And if you haven't seen how I set up my sequence, watch this video. It's going to tell you so much about it. And yeah, you understand why I create my sequence, which settings, which frame rates, and you know, whatnot. Alright, so sequence is created. What I'm going to do first of all is, because I shot all my footages with the editing pattern in my head, it makes it much easier to assemble them and place them sequentially. Okay, so this is a footage of the artist, you know, walking towards the camera and all that. Okay, so I have the music in here, which I'm going to play.
I don't want to be a product of my environment.
Okay. Let me reduce the...
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch me at the center.
Okay, so I'm going to pull the entire audio and place it on audio 2. No particular reason, but I just always love to leave a gap in here. All right, so audio 2 is where I've placed it. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to listen to the audio over here from the main shot. Okay, so I have these activated, the blue and the audio and the video indicated I've pulled these shots. So these are the shots I'm going to go with. Okay, so if I should listen to this point, go to in, start from the point where I started, or I can hit I wherever I want to start it from. All right, it's a wild, wild world. You can catch me in the center. All right, that's what the artist is saying. So I'm going to look for that over here in the song itself.
To be a product.
Alright, so I found it. The word it's a wild, wild world. So I'm going to listen to it and see if I really got the match.
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch me at the center.
Alright, cool. So it matches, alright? As much as it can. And that's how I actually place my shots. I listen to the audio, stay in, cut it in one particular word, move into the sequence where I've placed the audio, find it, and I just match it in there like that. All right, so I think I can stretch it all the way because I have the visual syncing with the actual audio. All right.
World, you can catch me at the center. Everybody in the room, shut up when I enter.
All right, everybody in the room, shut up when I enter. All right, so that's it. Okay, so the next is this particular footage. Let me find where exactly it starts. I think that says world. All right, so I'm gonna find world and I'll put it just right there, and I hope it syncs automatically.
Everybody in the room, shut up when I
All right, so it works, and this is how I cut my shots. Okay, the beginning of this song, I haven't done anything over there because it deals with more of there's no performance over there, so I put in some b-rolls, which were these shots. I managed to shoot these ones so that I could fill them in there over there. So just like you see in the actual sequence that I've put together, you notice that it starts like that.
I want to be a product of my environment.
So you notice that it's all slow-mo.
it's a wild.
All right, then it just switches to the performance. All right, cool. So that's about that. So that's the reason why I left this particular gap. All right, you're gonna go back to this sequence to actually continue with the cuts, but I just want you to see how I put together my cuts and ensure that I have a seamless flow. All right, okay. So let's start with the cuts. All right.
It's a wild, wild world.
All right. Let's compare this particular one to what's underneath.
It's a wild, wild world. It's a wild, wild world.
I think I prefer this.
It's a wild.
All right, so I'm gonna cut it all the way to this point and see.
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch.
Okay, so let's say I cut to the beat, and so if I cut it from here and I play it back to listen to it and see if the shots actually
It's a
make
wild,
sense.
wild world. You can catch me at the center.
All right, cool. I think I like it so far.
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch me at the center. Everybody in the room.
All right, always cut into the beat.
Everybody in the room, shut up when I
All right, let's see if it works right over here.
room, shut up when I It's a cue for me.
Okay, I think there was the artist managed to be repetitive and consistent with his movement in both shots. So I think it makes it much easier to make it look as if that was the same shot, right? Even though they are two separate shots.
It's a cue for me to speak the words of my.
All right, so let's see if he has both his fingers pointing into his head in the shot underneath. Okay, cool. So I think we have something that we can work with. Let's play with it and see if it will transition perfectly well.
Speak the words of my mental. You don't like what
Right, cool. I think I like it, but at this point, I think it's a quick jitter because he has his hands upwards and downs. So I'm trying to be seamless with the cuts and make sure that the actions are probably the same so that your eyes wouldn't hurt when one cut joins the next. You understand?
the words of my mental. Of my mental. You don't like what I do. Mental. You don't
Let me move just a little bit away and see how it looks.
my mental. You don't like what I do. My mental. You don't like what I do.
Right, even though the actions are not seamless, I think it still makes sense because it's a hard cut. All right, so
Speak the words of my mental. You don't like what I do.
okay.
I'm about to own the game, homie. This my show.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying this, and that's how I actually do my cuts.
Own the game, homie. This my genre.
I place a whole trail of the entire sequence, the shot on the music, and I cut in between unless I didn't take too many options of the same cut, just like I have with this one. I'm gonna have to listen to it and listen through and put the shots on them. All right, so after everything, you've noticed that I haven't added any bit of slow motion to it, and that's because when we are able to assemble all the cuts and manage to get all the cuts in place, then I'll find in the gaps. And mind you, this is not what's gonna happen over here. The entirety of the show is not going to be just outdoor. I shot a bit of studio scenes as well, where I had the artist sing from the top to the bottom of the song. All right, so I had him perform everything also in the studio, so I can join it in with these shots and we'll have transitions from the studio to outdoor, vice versa, like that. All right, okay, so I actually did 2 takes of that because I can't always be safe. All right, I can't always be sure that the artist did everything that I really wanted, so you need to have backup shots. Then I had a model perform with the artist as well from start to finish, just like I did with his solo shots in the studio. Okay, then I managed to get a shot of the artist also in a different posture, different shot size, because of course, you need to shoot different sizes in shots, as well as get different framing, composition, and all that. And I had this little light in there to accentuate character in the background. Okay, all right, so equally just like that. All right, you notice that I always do 2 takes to ensure that I'm safe. Okay, all right. Right, and I had 2 models dance also. You notice that I have them right there in the center of my background because of course the entire frame is not going to end up in the video. I'm going to have just this frame, so I will decide to either stretch or maintain this shot and add another shot to it to create something like a collage to fill in that shot. All right, so let's say for instance I zoom into so if I cut a shot like this and I put it on the sequence, I'm gonna have something like this originally, but I can zoom in all the way and let's say the models are in this way like that. Then I'm gonna add a crop like this. So the left and the right is what I'm going to crop out of. So let's say right and sorry, not bottom. Left. Okay, so crop it in, and I have a whole shot or a whole frame without the left and right unwanted detail in there. Okay, so I can have it this way, and I can equally place yet another shot but with different duration over here as well, and I'll just place it to my right like that and ensure that it actually fits in everything. Okay, so for instance this is the shot here. All right, by the end I'm going to of course have to fill in the gap and manage to find a way to do that. All right, so let's say I put them all there in slow-mo. I'm gonna have 2 durations of the same shot being played like that. So you notice that they are the same shots but in different durations at one point. Play this so I can do a lot of things. When we get to the effects video, then we'll look at how we're going to play along with these shots. All right, so let's get back to the cuts. So this is actually the final cut, and there's a different portion of the song where the artist also performed the second verse of the track, and so I had to take another shot of a different environment. Even though it was the same location, we changed our spot, and this is how it actually looked. So from where he was walking towards the camera, the second verse is gonna have walking away from the camera and the camera followed him. Okay, so that's it. Okay, cool. So that's about that with the cats. All right, you notice that it's of the same sequence but different shots. Okay, so 2 shots with the same activity, same camera movement, positioning, framing, and all that. But of course, because there will be differences in the artist's performance, regardless of the same shot of its kind, it's going to allow me to cut in between and it will look seamless. All right, so that's how I go about with my cuts. So let me quickly add some shots from the studio so that you see how I can intertwine the shots from outdoor and indoor, and let's see how it comes out. Okay, all right, so I found the spot over here, and I'm going to find where in the song it says that. Right, so place it on top, and then this, let's just listen to it if it sings.
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch me at this.
Alright, I think it delays just slightly, so what I'm gonna do is how about I push it a little bit forward. Let's listen to it and see.
It's a wild, wild world. You can catch me at the center room. Shut up when I ain't.
Alright, I love the fact that he keeps on, you know, with the same motions, the same activity in every sequence where the song gets to. Okay, so
shut up when I ain't.
all right, so shut up when I enter, and I'm going to cut it right over here and see how it plays.
Everybody in the room, shut up when I
Okay, I think at this point I'm going to drag it to the left a little bit because I have a feeling that it will make sense much more like that. So it's about your intuition, your own creative pattern, how you want it to play. You don't always have one way to cut your shots. If you want to cut onto beats, that's your, that's your preference. If you want to also cut asymmetrically, is also a preference that you can go with, right?
shut up when it's a cue for me to speak.
Make sure that every cut actually makes sense on what particular motion, because the song can drive you to cut faster, or the pace of the song can drive you to cut faster or slower. So you have to actually work with the music, because if the sequence of the shots are not in sync with the motion or the pace of the song, there's going to definitely be some miscommunication here and there. So you have to make sure that you try and do your best to avoid that. So thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. This is the very first part of the 3-part series where we cut, we add effects as well as color grade. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.